What's up, guys? Why not be reckless? aka Why not be cast? I'm one of the HCS commentators, analysts, and grassroots content creators, and we have another HCS report where today we're going to be doing our first power ranking video where we're going to be ranking the top players in Halo as of right now. This is going to be a weekly or bi-weekly series, so a lot of these things are going to change. Since this is the first iteration of us doing this, I want to tell you what my power ranking was before Arlington, after Arlington, and then I'm going to break down what it is right now. In the future, we'll just talk a little bit about what it was before, and then focus more on what it is currently. But let's get right into it, boys. So I guess really quickly, I'll bring up what I have a power ranking for after Arlington, but I guess quickly I'll bring up and talk about what my power ranking was going into Arlington. This was right before going into Arlington. I know a lot of people disagreed with me, but I actually had Last Shot as my #1 player. Dude, I thought Last Shot online was fantastic. I had already seen what he could do on land. The amount of damage that he was just pumping into the enemy team was absolutely crazy. He was my #1 player, and I thought he was fantastic. #2 was actually Stellar. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that one. I thought Stellar, like, if you looked at these just pure damage and KD stats of almost every one of his matches, especially the matches including going against the top 2 teams in the world, he was by far their leading damage dealer and their leading slayer. Like, I mean, by far. I had him as the #2 player. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that one. I had Frosty as my #3, which is a surprise I didn't have anybody from Optic in my top 2. I apologize. That's just how things went. I probably could have slipped Renegade in that #2 spot and maybe Stellar down to #4. But what I saw from Frosty and Last Shot were just 2 MVP caliber players leading up into the end season. I had to put at least 2 of them in the top 5. Renegade to me was probably the leading force in that Optic roster. I didn't even feel like he was, like, even when he wasn't the leading damage dealer, which a lot of times Bound was, which I really wanted to put Bound in my top 5 as well. But even when Bound was the leading damage dealer, Renegade was consistently the leading slayer. Like, just when Renegade was the leading slayer, the team was just simply winning. For some reason, the team just clicked when Renegade was activated on the actual map. So I had Renegade as my #4, and then I had Trippy going in. I thought Trippy on that phase roster was just like, him and Penguin were just kind of like just stepping up as not only like just objective players, slayers, just kind of doing it all. And I just felt like I remembered so many memorable Trippy moments and so many memorable just Trippy matches and stat lines. So I went heavily on the kills and deaths for this. I want to start going more with the objective, but I went heavily on the kills and deaths, and I had to include, obviously, top 4 teams in the world, had to include them, but 2 members of Shopify Bunny, especially with how dominant they were leading into Arlington. But there was some big changes ultimately after Arlington. So ultimately that leads us into the power ranking after Arlington. And I don't think people are going to disagree with me on this power ranking as much as they probably did on my one leading up into Arlington. I mean, I think if you're just paying attention, like, you have to show respect. And no matter what, LAN performance is always going to supersede anything that happened online as far as tournaments or as far as scrims, even though we're going to include those in our future power rankings. For me, dude, Renegade, #1 in KD, #2 in KDA, #1 in kills per minute. Like, I mean, what Renegade was doing on the map was probably illegal in many countries. Like, it was actually insane. Like he easily was the best player in the game at Arlington, and I don't think anybody could have robbed them of that. If you disagree, get out. But #2 actually had Frosty, and although Frosty maybe had a bit of a quieter grand finals, think back to before that grand finals. To me, Frosty was easily the MVP of the entire tournament. Like, Renegade to me was like #2. I would say most of the time it was Frosty #1, Renegade #2. going throughout the whole tournament. I think Renegade really stepped it up in the final couple of series where he took that #1 throne just because he was so close. Frosty did have a slightly slower grand finals compared to what the rest of the tournament he put on display, but I've had to have Frosty still as #2. Dude, all tournament long, he actually looked like the MVP. Renegade ended up stealing it away at like the very last few series, but I feel like they were neck and neck for the majority of the tournament. So that's my pick as far as MVP. And then we're gonna go a lot as far as I guess runner up to #1. And we're gonna go heavily as far as stat wise. I think Trippy to me takes #3. #3 in KD, #1 in KDA. And just again, same thing that we kind of saw leading before Arlington kind of reared its head again. I thought Trippy was absolutely phenomenal, dude. What was the play of the tournament? Come on now, we all know from the top mid side to the nest, Gaskin yelling, I think I'm gonna be sick, I'm gonna throw up. Then he pushes the green side, gets an overkill right afterwards. Look, it was about to be a kill apocalypse. It was crazy what he did. Literally the play of the tournament, and there was plenty more where that came from. Dude, I thought Trippy was fantastic. I thought FaZe were fantastic. We got to give FaZe some love. I have FaZe as my I have FaZe's Trippy as my #3. Again, disagree with me if you want, but come on, #1 on KDA and #3 in KD. My man was doing it both in the kills and the assists. That's kind of important if you ask me. #4 is Lucid. Have to have a member of Space Station Gaming in there. In the top 4, you got to show respect. And whenever I was looking at series that SSG were close in, or even ones that they completely dominated in, it was like one outlier, and that was Lucid. And the amount of damage he put down the map, the amount of pressure that he put on, even the eyeball test when you were watching Space Station Gaming, got to have a close look at SSG versus Cloud9 to decide who made it ultimately into the top 4 and into Championship Sunday. And Lucid was that dude. If you want me to back it up with stats, I absolutely will. #7 in KD, number 6 when it comes to KDA, #4 in kills per game, and also #1 when it came to highest damage per game. I had Stellar representing SSG going into Arlington, but I had Lucid very close to him in the top 5 leading up into Arlington. I think Lucid with that #1 in highest damage, and then also even just like I said, eyeball test, I had to give it slightly to Lucid. I think I can make a good argument still that Stellar could have held his top 5 position. I think Stellar was absolutely fantastic. But something Lucid just kind of grabbed the attention just a little bit more to me. And that's just my opinion on that one. I'm sure I'm gonna get some disagreements on this. And then #5, you have to sneak in another Optic player into the top 5. They won the damn tournament. They did the damn thing. And for me, it was Legend. And I know he didn't have total as far as stat wise. Like KD #6. Probably say, okay, well, you could have made a really good argument for like a Royal 2, for example. I agree. You probably could have made a really good argument for a Falcated, sure. But I will say, respect the assist. KDA, #3 in KDA to me, you got to show off that. And then I'll take it outside of just the kill stats. If you noticed when it came to the objective, they put a lot of pressure on Legend because they needed Legend to not only keep up in Slays, keep up in KD, but he was also one of the leaders when it came to objectives, especially the hill and the strongholds-based game types. He was always just stuck in that hill doing his thing. So I had to have Legend, in my opinion, in the top 5 because, again, if you just take just kills and damage out of it, which, by the way, he wasn't bad at that either. I think objective-wise, he was absolutely fantastic. So I had to slide Legend in as that #5 spot, especially because I wanted 2 Optic members in the top 5. They won the tournament. You got to give them respect. So that's just me as far as my top 5 after Arlington. Now let's get into the nitty gritty where we're going to switch things up a lot. Again, this is my power rankings. I want my power rankings to swing from like one video to another. Like I legitimately want to see who is the best at the moment. So why don't we go in and let's talk about what has happened since Arlington. So obviously Grand Finals is right here. We had an SSG versus Genji game 5. It might have been one of the online cups. SSG versus Genji. I'm gonna take a look at this, but I feel like in my opinion, when going over scrims, in my opinion, strength of schedule matters. So I care more about what SSG do against the top 3 than I do what they do against Genji. No offense to Genji whatsoever, but in this matchup, we'll at least see that Stellar, again, doing Stellar-like things, but also Lucid. We had him up in the top 5 because of damage, and he was still being that leading damage dealer. And I think for what Lucid needs to do on the map, I think his damage stats are going to be important for what SSG need of Lucid, I should say. But again, I really want to take strength of schedule into consideration. So, like, for example, Shopify Rebellion versus FaZe. Let's see what we're looking at here. Like, I want to really pay attention to the stats on this one, where as far as any outliers, oh, Cycle. Damn. We gonna remember that, Cycle. Frosty, impressive as well. We're gonna remember this. Somebody write this one down. Cycle with 329 kills, Frosty 284 kills. This is obviously after 15 games and a pretty good win against FaZe. On the other side, you have FaZe, Falcated doing his thing. As far as the Slays department, I want to see a bit of the objective as well, though. Fairly even across the board. Surprised that Cycle had this level of kills, and then also having the oddball the most time. Obviously not much more than Frosty, was also extremely good. Look at the damage. Dude, 100,000 damage is crazy, bro. 100,000 damage is crazy. Last shot also up there as well. 197 kills for points as far as oddball. Frosty's up there as well. Really impressive considering they were the leading Slayers and having the ball in their hands most of the time. We did see a lot of steals as far as flag from last shot. We got to show that. Same for World 2. I didn't even know World 2 even knew what a flag was. Interesting. King of the Hill stats, for some reason King of the Hill just doesn't like Halo Data Hives doesn't like King of the Hill, and King of the Hill doesn't like Halo Data Hives. Not sure exactly why. And as far as objective time in the strongholds, pretty even as well. World 2 stepping it up as well, at least for that. And that's pretty much it that I want to highlight. Hey, Penguin doing his thing in the oddball time. Falcated not too far behind them, but pretty damn. I mean, 50 seconds in oddball is pretty much like that's a whole round. So I'm gonna keep this in the back of my mind here as we move forward. Love that from Cycle. Let's go in, and again, we're looking for sprint to schedule. So when we're looking at scrims, I'm looking at the big ones. You know what I'm looking for. You know what I'm looking for. Shopify Rebellion and Optic. You knew what I was looking for. Come on now. Let's see here. So we have Shopify Rebellion going up against Optic Gaming, guys. We wanted to see Frosty after what? I'm not good at math. This is 13 games. 13 games. We have Frosty put up 293 kills, 84,000 damage. Love to see that out of him. Cycle not too far behind. I think Cycle's really felt very comfortable in his role now. And then last shot also doing 85,000 damage. Really like that out of him. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, I think Legend, fantastic. Formal in the damage department. Love to see that at Formal, by the way. And let us see. Good God. Most of the ball time going to last shot. So last shot not only leading in damage, but also holding the ball the most here. I've been seeing that as like kind of a trend over the last few scrims that we've pulled up, just randomly noticing that. Last shot also holding the flag for most of the stalemate as well. As far as steals, also having the most steals. Last shot has really stepped into a role of more of the objective role, while also being the leading damage dealer for the roster that I'm noticing here. Let's see. And then as far as strongholds time, also most captures. So we're going to take that into consideration when talking about last shot. Meanwhile, good God. I was gonna say, on the other side, let's look at the optic side. Renegade had 300, or just about 300 points of oddball time to go along with his 245 kills. Kind of crazy if you ask me. Good God. As far ow. I'm liking I mean, based on like this tier alone, I'm really liking Frosty, I'm really liking Last Shot, and I'm still really liking Renegade and Legend. How did I just do there? Based on those numbers, I think those are really good. Keep that in mind. Legend, Renegade, Frosty, and Last Shot. If I was gonna swing things a little bit, I probably would swing something like, I think no matter what, I gotta keep Renegade as number. I'd probably do something like that. Probably mix up this a little bit. I think I slide Last Shot back in number 3, and then I think we keep Legend and Lucid and maybe Trippy, because I want to see more of the script. I think we just keep something like this right now, based on what I've seen so far. Let's see. I think this is why, for what I see so far, this is what I'm looking at right now. But again, I want to see some FaZe stuff, and I also want to see some SSG stuff. Didn't FaZe and SSG actually scrim each other? I could have swore that happened. I might be faded on. Yeah, I might be faded on that one. We could see FaZe versus TSM, and then we could also see SSG versus one. FaZe versus TSM. And again, this is why I say strength of schedule matters. And by the way, TSM actually won this scrim, which is really surprising. Looking at FaZe, I think Suppressed, fantastic. Fantastic. Big damage. Penguin also most damage in the entire lobby. Meanwhile, on the TSM side of things, showing some respect to Manny, who just came in as the newest member, slaying out of his mind. Love that out of Manny. Pretty even as far as oddball time there. Penguin and Suppressed taking kind of the most of that. As far as steals, yeah, pretty even between Penguin and Trippy. And as far as not Kid Hill, but Stronghold stats, Suppressed and Penguin doing most of that. I liked Suppressed. I liked Suppressed at Arlington as well. I like Suppressed at Arlington as well, but I guess not in the top 5 in like KDA kills or highest damage. But I still really liked Suppressed in the matches that I was able to see him at. And then let's check SSG versus 1. Again, this is why I'm like, dude, strength of schedule matters, and some of the players are gonna slip out of their top 3 spots just because of strength of schedule. They haven't been able to scrim the top teams yet. Stellar, fantastic. Love that out of him. Lucid, big damage out of these two. As far as oddball stats, Lucid doing his thing in the oddball. I will say, although the kills heavily favor Stellar, that oddball stats heavily favor Lucid. That's gonna be a close one there. Because I do want to sneak in still one SSG member, but I don't know. I want to sneak in at least one SSG member, but I think you can make a really good argument for both Lucid and Stellar. As far as steals, Snakebite and Stellar doing their thing. And then Strongholds, fairly even across the board. Love that out of them. It's going to be tough. If SSG and FaZe scrimmed each other, it'd be a lot easier, man. It'd be a lot easier. I think no matter what, I want to keep... an SSG and a FaZe member in... Wow, this is tough. Do we keep 2? Is there a world where we keep 2 players on both Optic and Shopify Rebellion in the top 5? I feel like I have 2 of one of them. I feel like having 2 of each of them. I mean, wow. Is there a world where this happens? I mean, FaZe did lose to TSM in scrims, and I'm trying to, let's see, is there what other scrims did, but FaZe also 12-2 Cloud9, so I feel like they made up for that. Wow. I like Lucid a lot. Is there a rule we switch where we slip Trippy out? I feel like Trippy's been so good though, man. Trippy has been so good. To slip him out feels wrong. It feels wrong. Wow. You know what? We're making the argument for Legend and Last Shot. Let's go back to the Scrim versus Shopify Brilliant Optic. I mean, dude, Legend was so good, man. How do we take him out? He was so good. Foster was so good. Last Shot was so good in the damage and the objective. I think they both were fantastic in the objective as well. I mean, God bless Renegade was crazy. I think, yeah, I think we have two of each of Shopify Brilliant Optic for now. This is for now. This is going to change, especially if SSG and FaZe end up scrimming each other, because I think we make a good argument for these players right here in the top 5. Honestly, at this point, I'm about to add like a tier. Should we add honorable mentions? I think we add honorable mentions, bro. Can I add honorable mentions? Is that even possible? Am I cheating? I think we add honorable mentions. Number 5. So number 5, we put Loosey Goosey. I'm cheating with this one. Honorable mentions, bro. Stellar, Suppressed, Trippy. But right now, I think we got it. I think we got to keep it something like this. Frosty and Renegade, I don't mind having them top 2. I'll give Frosty the number 1 spot, especially after actually, you know what? Let's keep Renegade number 1 spot. Land matters, and this was a tie in scrims. I really liked what Frosty did, but also Renegade was damn good in the kills and all that ball time. That ball time was crazy. So land matters, plus Renegade was still fantastic, and it was a tie ultimately in scrims. So when there's a tie, let's lean towards a tournament play. Keep Renegade number 1. I would love to switch it up just for the sake of just switching it up. We'll have. I like him in the damage, but Legend did slay out. Yeah. Legend number 3 plus Optic are your land champions. We got to show respect to that. Last Shot number 4, or are we slipping Lucid in number 4? I would like to slip Lucid number 4, but I haven't seen enough for it. I think there's a good chance that Lucid slides in as number 4 right now. And in the honorable mentions, I think these are my honorable mentions. Or maybe we should only limit it to 2. I'll keep it 3. 3 honorable mentions right now. But yeah, I think we're locked in. I think we're locked in as this is my power ranking right now. We're gonna do another one probably in like a week or 2, especially as scrims start to come out. Like if SSG and FaZe end up scrimming each other, we're gonna do like another one immediately and find out top 5 players. Keep an eye out though. We're also wanting to do top 5 power rankings of teams in the league as well. Actually, we'll probably end up doing like a whole top like 12 or top 16 teams in the league. We'll do a power ranking for that as well. That's going to be really, really fun. But yeah, guys, until next time, I will catch you guys later. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. As you interact with the actual video itself, like, subscribe, comments, it pushes to the algorithm and actually pushes to more people that might like it, which I'm pretty sure makes me rich, but I'm not exactly sure how that works. Meanwhile, I can make you rich by giving you some big money because we are giving $1 away to 1 lucky subscriber that comments down below. So make sure you guys get involved with that. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Deuces. Peace.